Hey everybody, welcome to the real world. Doing something a little bit different today. Just going to be recording a conversation I'm having with my brother Carson. Say hi.
Hey.
So we're going to be talking about the DCU, the DC Universe, all the new movies coming from Warner Brothers.
DCU. James Gunn in the house.
James Gunn recently announced a lot of movies and shows. So we're going to be talking about all those. Hope you enjoy.
So, did you hear about the DCU news that dropped recently?
Yes, I've heard about this news. We got to talk about it because we're lifelong DC fans. But my introduction to the world of DC was the DC animated universe.
Yeah, me too. Injustice was probably the next most influential part of the DC universe.
We got to talk about the history of DC real quick.
Really?
Yeah, because it's important to set the context for people that don't know. People aren't in the know.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, 1978. No.
We're not going back to Donner, Cameron.
So
it's
the modern era.
Snyder made Man of Steel.
Correct. Man of Steel came out in 2013. I was ecstatic about it. Saw it in theaters. Then 2016, we got Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yes, of course.
And that whole debacle with the director's cut wasn't released in theaters.
I thought that was as crazy as it was going to get.
I know.
What a fool I was.
Yeah. And then we had the whole Zack Snyder's Justice League debacle. And Snyder was really, he was building a universe. He had Patty Jenkins go and make Wonder Woman. He produced that, did the story on it. So DC and Warner's has just been plagued by problems. Studio executives interfering in directors' visions. And
it's been the studio versus the artists behind the stories they're trying to tell.
Exactly.
And that's been like the major conflict so far.
So now we're at a point where
Dwayne Johnson has taken over.
Right.
Dwayne Johnson took over with Black Adam.
He took over. Yeah. And so, he brought back Henry Cavill. We were all excited. Like, okay, maybe they're like bringing all those characters back.
Because we knew at some point they were doing a Superman movie. We're getting a new Superman movie.
Yeah, he was announced. He was back. They were going to make the new Man of Steel 2, which we've been waiting for 10 years. And then about a month later, they're like, nope, sorry. We got a new guy. His name's James Gunn. He's behind the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He did our Suicide Squad movie. Co-chairman and CEO.
Who is the other guy?
Peter Safran, who is producer on most of James Gunn's movies, as well as Shazam.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So he's more of the business side, the money guy.
He's going to distract the studio executives.
Correct.
While James Gunn makes movies.
Yeah. So James Gunn, he's a writer-director. And so it's unique. It's a unique setup. It's unique from Marvel in that Marvel has Kevin Feige, who's like the big producer guy. Mm-hmm. He's been, with Marvel since X-Men 1. Produced under Avi Arad for decades.
Good old Avi.
That's right.
Avi knows.
Really, Avi was in charge the entire time. Avi knows all, right?
You see? Did you hear that?
After every take, I'd be like, so Avi, what should I do? Because I don't know. I'm confused. Right. Give me advice.
And so, it's an interesting setup. And it's... look, I'm a huge Snyder fan. Super disappointed they're not moving forward with that and giving us his other movies that he was planning on making. He was planning on making 2 more Justice League movies. Looks like that's not going to happen. Although there's Elseworlds we'll talk about, so that is still a slight possibility. But he's busy over at Netflix making Army of the Dead movies and Rebel Moon.
And Rebel Moon, which looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with what we got.
The fact that we got Zack Snyder's Justice League is a miracle.
I feel like the Snyder Cut is over.
Yeah, right.
Our victory's won.
Right.
We got the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I get it.
So to me, that's his trilogy. He did his thing.
I get it. But I think
I'm satisfied.
I think the thing that makes me more upset is the fact that they announced Henry Cavill was back and now he's not. That gave me hope, and then they crushed my hope again, and it's just very, very disappointing.
I think this can be good news. And I think this can be good news because of what we've heard from James Gunn.
Sure. So let's dive into what James Gunn announced. So he announced the first, half of the first chapter. I guess we should talk about, he announced that it's chapter 1 is kind of like, think of Marvel has phases, phase 1.
Sure.
His chapter 1 is called Gods and Monsters.
Okay.
And he basically said, this is the ones that he's announced, it's not the full chapter 1.
Right.
But it's the beginning of this first chapter of storytelling. Yeah. And then he's already planned out chapter 2 as well. So it's an 8 to 10 year plan that he has in place.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's go through what he announced.
Going back to the DCEU,
which was never the official title of anything. But
Shazam! Fear of the Gods is coming out soon.
Yep, comes out in March. That's still loosely connected, but James Gunn said it's in its own
Shazam,
corner.
Shazam has always been Shazam.
Yeah, so it's not fully connected.
Yeah. Flash, which who knows what Flash is going to be.
Yeah, it's getting rave reviews from these early test screenings. People are saying it's like as good as The Dark Knight and all this crazy stuff. So
we'll see. I love Flash. I've always wanted a Flash movie.
It's supposedly a Flashpoint story, which is his best story in the comics. So very hopeful. Michael Keaton's back. Ben Affleck's back. That's another thing that's very confusing. Some of these actors are still in there and some aren't. So it's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I think it'll make sense because the Flash movie is gonna like reset the timeline.
Exactly. The one that's weird is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Exactly.
Which is still Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and so I guess he's still Aquaman, but Henry Cavill is not Superman. Well, he said all this leads into the next. He kept saying that over and over. This leads into this. This leads into that. But I don't think he really means that it's actually connected. Like maybe there's some little post credits thing that he's gonna connect it with. But as it stands now, I doubt it's actually connected to anything he's doing.
In my mind, it makes sense.
In my mind, it doesn't. Because it's so all over the place with the actors. If you're going to reboot, just fully reboot. That would be more.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to make sense when these movies come out. Okay. So Shazam is its own thing, standalone. Who cares? Right. Blue Beetle is the same as Shazam. It's standalone. It's its own like. I think the Flash is going to reset everything. Okay. I think Blue Beetle and Aquaman are going to just. They're just going to say it takes place before Flash. Right. And that's fine. Because I'm pretty sure Flash won't even be in the DCU for most of his movie. I think he'll be all over the place. All over the multiverse.
The other thing that confuses me is that Jason Momoa went online and he's talking about Lobo and how he wants to be Lobo. And James Gunn posted a picture of Lobo. So I'm like, just reset and have him play Lobo from now on. I mean, that's
what they're going to do.
We'll see.
That's what they're going to do. It's going to make perfect sense. Okay, so... We'll start with the movies that they announced because they're doing this cool thing with movies and shows. Yes, and even animated shows are all interconnected.
Correct.
Which is cool.
That's great.
I mean, Marvel's doing that a little bit, right? But what really sets it over the top for me is the animated voice actors in the shows are going to come into live action.
Yeah, that's kind of really unheard of because Marvel did that with What If, but not with all the actors. Like, not everyone came back.
Well, that's the opposite. That's live action actors going into animation.
Yes, exactly. And I think this is probably going to end up being both.
Sure.
Like, I think we could get, like, whoever our new Superman is.
He could
coming into some animated thing, which would be cool.
That makes sense.
They said also gaming would be connected, which is really different.
That'll be interesting. So the first movie, which is really the beginning, is Superman Legacy.
Yeah, interesting title. It could mean so many things.
This is a perfect start. You got to start with Superman.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they started with Man of Steel, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they all know that, like, he's the king of superheroes. Everyone knows who he is. He's the most popular superhero. He's been around the longest. He's the first one ever created back in 1938. Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster.
And like you said, it's been like 10 years since we've had a Superman movie.
True.
And Man of Steel, as much as I love it, I think it's a terrific movie.
It's great.
It's a deviation from, I think, what the public thinks of as a Superman movie.
Sure. It definitely took a grounded, gritty approach to the character. Mm-hmm. And so, this will be a kind of return to the more hopeful, optimistic.
Yeah.
The picture they posted was of All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison, one of my favorite comics of all time, which is kind of a...
There's no way they're starting with All-Star.
No, because that's the end of Superman. But I think that tone and the look and feel of it...
When I think All-Star, I think the scene where he is talking to people. Superman talks to people, and he empathizes with people.
Right.
And he doesn't use his powers all the time to solve every problem.
Yeah, he's very neat.
He almost doesn't like his powers.
Right.
You know, kind of trying to suppress his Kryptonian nature and be more human.
Right. And the Legacy title, I think, is definitely going to tie into his Kryptonian heritage, and... Wild guess, but I am thinking he's going to do Brainiac as the villain. Because we've never really seen Brainiac in a live-action Superman movie. He's weird, he's sci-fi. I think it ties into James Gunn's personality.
I think that's a great idea. And that can tie in very easily to the theme of legacy.
Correct.
Brainiac, in some iterations, mostly the DCAU,
Yeah.
is from Krypton.
Exactly.
Or even created by Jor-El.
Right.
Brainiac representing his Kryptonian heritage.
Right.
And
maybe
maybe
the dark
even,
side of it.
Sure.
And then, I'm sure we'll have the Fortress of Solitude with Jor-El talking to him as we do in most Superman movies.
Maybe.
And then we'll also have Pa Kent maybe surviving.
That'd be nice.
He
doesn't always die.
I know. The DCIU, he lives through most of it. So
yeah, Superman Legacy, I'm thinking there might also be a second villain. Because I'm thinking in terms of duology, Kryptonian is Brainiac and stuff, and then Parasite or Metallo.
I was going to say Parasite. Or
something.
Metallo would be great. Metallo's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Their humanity, they're what he's trying to protect.
Right.
I think that'd be a cool thing.
It would. That one has a release date July 11th, 2025. So that's the only thing that they've actually set a date for. So he's already writing it. James Gunn is writing it himself.
Yeah.
They don't have a director yet, but I'm very curious who they're going to get and who they're going to get to play Superman. That's all going to be
the next movie that was announced. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Who?
Most people were.
This is The Authority.
Yeah, so The Authority, I want to talk about them real quick. The first time I ever heard about The Authority was when I was listening to a commentary on one of the DVDs I used to have for... Yeah, it was the Justice League Better World episode, where they have the Justice Lords.
Oh, okay.
So Bruce Timm brought up The Authority. He's like, yeah, we kind of basically wanted to do Authority, but The Authority is R-rated, so we couldn't do that on a kid's show. So we did Justice Lords, which is basically the evil version of Justice League.
Yeah.
Now, the Authority, they're not bad guys, but they're good guys that will basically do anything to make things right.
I know nothing about them.
Yeah.
They're Wildstorm?
Wildstorm. It's just a DC imprint. So it's not official DC, it's one of their other comics.
Superman has a recent comic run where he's teamed up with the Authority.
I heard about that, too.
Yeah. And I think that would be a really interesting thing to do with Superman is if in Legacy something happens where he loses his power, so he needs to do something, and the Authority's out there, we're gonna do it better.
That would be interesting.
And he's kind of trying to rein him in. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. The next movie is The Brave and the Bold.
So the Batman. This is their version of Batman. It is supposedly going to be an older Batman because they're introducing Robin, which we haven't gotten Robin since 1997. They're showing us Damian Wayne. Bruce Wayne's son is going to be Robin in this film, who's the newest iteration of Robin, I think, in the comics.
Yeah. What I'm most excited for about this is the Bat family. I'm excited for a Bat family story.
Yeah.
I'm hoping...
Are we going to get
I'm hoping all the Robins have already come and gone.
Are we going to get Oracle?
I want Nightwing. I want Oracle. I want Red Hood.
Okay.
I want Red Robin.
Okay. Wow.
I want them all to eventually...
Spoiler?
Come on in. And
so yeah, Raven the Bold is really... To me, it's one of the ones I'm more excited about, actually, because of, like you said, the Bat family.
Yeah.
That we've never really seen on screen.
Mm-hmm. In live action, at least.
In live action.
Yeah.
So... very curious about that.
The next announcement was Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Yeah, so this is interesting because it's based on a very recent comic run, an 8-issue run by Tom King.
Yeah.
They're literally just adapting it. They didn't say this is kind of loosely based on it, it's kind of inspired by... No, they said this is an adaptation of the story.
Literally based on the specific comic.
So I was reading up on this. I really want to read it because it's Supergirl, basically in the cosmos. She travels to another planet.
Yeah.
And she finds this young girl who's bent on revenge and decides to kind of help her take up this cause.
Yeah.
And so it really doesn't seem like Superman's going to be involved. I'm sure he'll make an appearance in the movie. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't, but it's kind of just a space story. Yeah. She's just out in space. A sci-fi epic is how James Gunn described
Something
it.
that you mentioned earlier was you think she could show up in Superman Legacy.
Yeah.
That was one of your first reactions was...
Yeah.
Like Superman Legacy
right.
must be referring to Supergirl.
It could be. I think it would be a great way to bring her in, even if it's just at the very end of the movie.
Sure.
She crash lands and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Especially if you're doing Brainiac in the city of Kandor.
Yeah, it would make sense.
That would be everything. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to a big sci-fi superhero story. I mean, again, I keep going back to it, but Man of Steel, that opening sequence on Krypton is still never been topped. Yeah. Like that sci-fi, action-packed, just crazy, great world building, all that is what I'm looking forward to there.
The final film announced was Swamp Thing.
So excited about this.
Another Swamp Thing movie. I think we have 3 Swamp Thing movies now.
Oh, I think, this will be the third, because there was Swamp Thing from 1982.
Yeah.
Wes Craven directed. Big guy in a rubber suit.
Yep.
Stomped around the swamp. Which I think is tons of fun.
I've never seen it.
B monster movie to the max. I mean, it is just so much fun to watch. I never saw the sequel, Return of Swamp Thing, but heard it wasn't as good. But this is great because... a couple reasons. Swamp Thing is just a cool character. I really want to see the show.
I hear the show's good. It looks cool.
I've heard it was cool. Really dark and gritty.
Yeah.
But he's a great character. He's super powerful. He's got a great origin story. And it's just a corner of the DC universe we haven't really explored yet. That horror side. This is going to be a horror film.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad that they're going with just a genre of movie.
Me too.
And they're just making like a creature feature horror movie.
Yes.
And not trying to like make it Morbius. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Where it's like a superhero movie.
That one should have been
a
horror film.
Right.
This one,
I like Swamp Thing as a character from the comics and
He's
animated
great.
Stuff. Mark Hamill voices him in Justice League Action.
That's right. He did a great job with that.
Yeah, he's a really interesting...
The Swamp Thing is so tied in with Constantine and Zatanna.
Justice League Dark.
Right. He teams up with Deadman and all those characters, which is Gods and Monsters, that title does definitely tie in with all that.
Yeah.
This is the character that I most clearly see, the monster side, obviously.
Right, yeah.
But monster could be referring to the Authority and the way they behave and that kind of thing.
Yeah, monsters come in many forms.
This is another one I'm excited about because of the talent potentially involved. At this point, we don't know, but it's been rumored that James Mangold could be directing this. And that would be cool. That would put it on another level for me, because Mangold did Logan.
Yeah.
He's doing the new indie movie. I mean, he's one of my all-time favorite directors.
He's great.
He's one of the best working today. So if he's attached, this will go to the top of my most anticipated list.
So moving on to television series. The first TV show that was announced was Creature Commandos.
Yes, this is currently at the top of my most anticipated list.
Really?
This is the thing I want to see the most.
Okay, why?
Okay, so Creature Commandos, super, obscure team, which James Gunn does so well.
He does, yeah.
Did it with the Squad, he did it with the Guardians, and now he's going to do it with the Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
So this is a team of... think like the Universal monsters. There's like a creature from the Black Lagoon. There's a Frankenstein. There's a Bride of Frankenstein. There's a robot. There's a Phosphorus Man.
Weasel. Yeah.
Yep. And they're all led by Rick Flag Sr. Okay? So Rick Flag, we know from Suicide Squad.
Right.
Played by Joel Kinnaman. Did a great job.
Super cool.
And so his dad leads this team. So very excited about Creature Commandos.
Yeah, Creature Commandos.
And the fact that those characters are probably going to show up in live action later.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That's going to be really fun.
Speaking of live action television series that have been except for the first one that he announced, which is Waller.
Yeah, Amanda Waller.
Viola Davis.
Right.
As Amanda Waller.
She just won an EGOT. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Emmy, Grammy, Tony, Oscar. She's got all of them now.
That's cool.
She's got all the major awards. So
awesome.
It's a huge thing that they have her still attached.
Yeah.
Because she's been attached since the first Suicide Squad back in 2016. And she's shown up in, the Suicide Squad, then Black Adam she just showed up in. So excited to see that she's getting her own show. I'm curious what the tone will be. Is it going to be more Peacemaker? Is it going to be darker? I'm guessing it'll be probably not as comedic.
Yeah.
And what story are they going to tell with her? Are they going to go into her backstory? Is this all going to be, what's going to be the setting? What are the characters she's going to interact with? I mean, Waller's a character that she's interacted with so many characters,
right,
that they can do anything with her, basically.
Yeah. Evidently, some of the people who worked on Watchmen.
Yeah, the Watchmen series, not
show.
the movie.
Oh, okay.
The HBO series, which I was pretty impressed with. And so Crystal Henry is involved there, and Jeremy Carver from Supernatural.
Okay.
It's one of the longest running CW shows ever.
Yeah.
So interesting talent involved there. So curious to see what they do with Walla.
Next is a show I'm so excited for. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be so fun.
I think this is a great choice for a show too, to give him a show, not a movie.
Oh yeah, he's too big for a movie. It's Booster Gold.
Yeah, Booster Gold.
Booster Gold is a loser from the future who steals technology and then travels to the past to become a superhero.
Right.
His only live-action appearance was in Smallville.
Oh, yeah.
And it's excellent.
It is. It's good.
Even better is his DC animated universe appearance.
Yeah, for sure.
Several
appearances there.
Several appearances.
Justice League action, he's in that as well.
Yeah, he is in
a
that.
few
That's
times.
right, yeah.
He's a fun character. He's really funny. You know, he's kind of known for his kind of sense of humor, and he's basically just trying to be a celebrity.
He's very, but his ultimate arc is in trying to be a fake hero.
Right.
He becomes a real hero.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that character arc. If they're going to go through that whole arc in the first season, or if they're going to save it and bring him into the movies, and what his journey is going to be interesting.
In the comics, he has an ongoing friendship with Blue Beetle.
Yes.
So I'm curious if they're going to carry over the new movie that's coming out. I really hope they do. Cause
the casting on this one's going to be very interesting. A lot of people are speculating it's going to be Chris Pratt. Because James Gunn has obviously worked with him on the Guardians movies. And James Gunn specifically said recently, I'm bringing some of my cast from Marvel to DC. And so I'm curious to see who it's going to be.
Is Dave Bautista with Swamp Thing.
That could work really well.
That'd be kind of cool.
Dave Bautista wants to play Bane.
Really?
He's mentioned he wants to play Bane. So we'll have to wait and see on the casting, but it's going to be really interesting. I think actually Chris Pratt is a great pick for Booster Gold. I think he could really pull it off.
I think
very well.
That's funny. The next show is a cop
Space Saga.
Right. In the form of lanterns.
Yeah. So
it's not called Green Lantern.
Right. Which is
it's
interesting.
Called Lantern. Which is very exciting because that means we get more than just the Green Lantern Corps.
Exactly. So there's the Blue Lanterns, there's the Red Lanterns, there's the Yellow Lanterns. I mean, there's all kinds of different colors out there.
It's a rainbow of lanterns.
And so the fact that it is called Lanterns is exciting because we could get to see so many different characters, so many different sections of the galaxy. And I'm excited to see that it's Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart together, buddy cop team up, Lethal Weapon style.
I'm thinking they're not going to both be Green Lanterns.
Yeah, the images shown are Jon Stewart with a yellow.
Yeah. Usually Hal Jordan is the one who takes on different colors.
Exactly. He becomes Parallax and that whole crazy thing. So James Gunn said it's going to be kind of like True Detective, which is an HBO Max series.
Right.
I watched the first season of that, and it was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a linchpin show because James Gunn said they'd uncover a mystery, which ties into the larger story that he's telling in Chapter 1 of the DCU. So, is it going to be Parallax? I mean, that's what my mind ran to, because it's just, he's so connected to the Lanterns. We got a terrible version of him in the 2011 movie, which no one remembers. Voiced by the great Clancy Brown, but they decided to make him a giant space cloud, which is the same thing they did with Galactus in the Fantastic Four movie. I don't know why there was an obsession with space clouds in the 2000s.
Space clouds, dude.
Whatever. Who's the big villain going to be? The Thanos of DCU. Is it going to be Parallax? Is it going to be Mongol? Are they going to go straight to Darkseid? I don't know. I think Mongol would be great because you got Warworld, and introducing that whole aspect of the DC universe would be great.
Yeah. There's no Justice League movie slated yet.
Exactly.
So I don't know if they're going to be a team or...
It could be the final film of Chapter 1, Justice League.
I guess that's true.
I don't know. Or they may start with Justice League Dark. I mean, they're starting with Authority, which is weird. Like, Authority's a team before the Justice League is a team.
Right.
Right. that's another question. Is the Justice League already a team? Because we've got an older Batman with a son already.
They could be.
Does Batman already have a team that he's working with that maybe doesn't include Superman yet? Because it's a young, he said, like 20-something-year-old Superman.
That would be interesting. That'd be really interesting. I don't think we need, because with Superman Legacy, I don't think we need another origin story for him.
It's not going to be an origin.
Yeah,
no, he's already said it's not an origin. That's why he's starting him at like age 25.
Right,
and we're just picking up with him probably already in Metropolis.
So it could be that the Justice League are already a thing going around. I don't know. But the missing member of the Trinity of the DC Universe is not Superman, because he's got his movie.
Yeah.
We have Brave and the Bold. There's our Batman.
Yeah.
So where's Wonder Woman? Well, we have the final show, Paradise Lost.
Yes.
Which is set in Themyscira, Wonder Woman's home island.
Yeah. So this is set in the past. This is a prequel, they've confirmed.
Right. Yeah.
Which I didn't know that. They said this is set well before Diana, Princess Diana, Wonder Woman, is even born.
Okay.
So this is going to chronicle the history of Themyscira, the history of the Amazons, the Greek gods, the Greek pantheon will be explored here.
Yeah.
You know, we could get Medusa in there. We could get all these Greek mythological characters explored in this show, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They say it's kind of loosely based on or inspired by Game of Thrones, that kind of like, you know, intrigue, political intrigue with these big battle sequences.
Yeah.
That's kind of the tone they're going for. So this will be fascinating.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I feel like we're going to be setting up some kind of ancient villain in this show, or some kind of
Ares, I'm sure, will show up.
Ares, or when I think Themyscira stuff, I think very mystical. I think like Morgan Le Fay.
Maybe like Hades. Oh yeah, Morgan Le Fay would be good.
I think like all kinds of like, because my mind keeps going to DCAU.
Right.
What they do there.
Right, sure.
With like Mordred and you know.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So
yeah, the mystical stuff will definitely tie in here. The gods and monsters, the god side will be here as well as the monster side.
Right.
They could fight a cyclops. I mean, they get all kinds of cool stuff here with the show.
Right. Yeah.
So my question is, of course, you know, we're talking about Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot. We haven't talked about her yet. Is she in or out? We don't know. Supposedly they had a meeting.
Oh.
And they said the door's open. And she hasn't walked through it yet. So there's a rumor she's going to cameo in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which would be fun.
Okay.
Beyond that, we don't know. Patty Jenkins, I don't think, is attached to Wonder Woman 3 anymore to direct, because she directed the first two.
Right.
So, but they set up the third one at the end of the 1984. So I just, again, that's another element that's very confusing. Will they bring her back? Will she want to come back if Patty Jenkins isn't on board? They're such a team.
Yeah.
You know,
I think if they do, they can still do that in an Elseworlds story. I think it can still be its own. You can still do Gal Gadot Wonder Woman stuff.
That's something we need to talk about too, is that, you know, James Gunn said there are Elseworlds tales being told still. You know, they've still got Matt Reeves' The Batman universe, which is fully on board. Part 2 is coming. That's the official title, The Batman Part 2, coming October 2025. Same year as Superman Legacy.
The Batman and the Robin.
Hopefully. We'll see. Although if they're doing Robin and Brave and the Bold, they probably won't.
But it's Damian Wayne. So
and it's an Elseworld, so it could be anything. And they showed up in The Flash in some kind of scene at the end.
That'd be really cool.
You know, because, I mean, think about it. Superman Legacy's coming out in theaters 2025.
Yeah.
They've got hopefully the script is, like, done or almost done. And they've got the movie cast by, like, summer.
Yeah.
Which is when Flash is scheduled to come out. So I doubt we'll have any cameos, but it would be cool if that movie could do a little bit more to set up this new universe.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for director-driven stories in the DC universe.
That gives me a lot of hope.
Focusing on telling stories about these characters that are good, as long as they're good, compelling movies.
Yes,
I don't care so much that they're connected.
Yeah.
As long as I'm getting more good stories from these characters.
And that's what's exciting about James Gunn being a co-chairman here, is that he is a writer-director. He knows what it's like to make these movies. And so he's really, I think, going to give these creators a lot of leeway and really, get to put their personality into it, their creative style. And I think that's going to really help differentiate them from Marvel, because Marvel has become and been criticized for this kind of cookie cutter, all the same movie made over and over. I'm very hopeful, looking forward to this. It's hard. It's hard for a Snyder fan. It's hard out here for a Snyder fan.
I get it.
I mean, look, we got our Snyder cut, and I'm very happy about that. But yeah, looking forward to DCU. Exciting stuff. Thanks everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed this conversation on the DC universe. Be sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to get notifications of all our videos here at The Real World, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.